Hey there, and welcome to English House. I'm Sarah, and in this episode, I have something very special for you. Today, we're going to learn and practice English through a story. But don't worry, we're not going to read a whole book. This is a short and simple version of the story, made just for English learners. The story you'll hear today is called Treasure Island. It's a famous adventure story full of pirates, treasure, and courage. My goal is to help you learn English while enjoying the story. Here's what we'll do together. First, you will listen to the story, told slowly and clearly, using simple words. Then, we'll learn some important vocabulary from the story. I'll explain each word in an easy way, with examples. Finally, we'll do some shadowing practice, where you can repeat after me to improve your pronunciation and fluency. So, get ready, take a deep breath, and let's begin. This is Treasure Island, told just for you English learners around the world. Part 1, the beginning. A long time ago, in a quiet village by the sea, there was a small inn called the Admiral Benbow. A young boy named Jim Hawkins lived there with his parents. Their life was simple and peaceful. Only a few travelers came to the inn, and nothing exciting ever happened. But one day, everything changed. An old sailor came to stay at the inn. He was tall, strong, and looked rough. He had a deep scar on his face and didn't talk much. Every morning, he walked to the top of the hill near the sea with a telescope. He looked out at the water as if he was watching for someone. He drank too much rum and sang loud pirate songs that scared the other guests. His name was Billy Bones. Billy told Jim to keep an eye out for a sailor with one leg. He even gave Jim a silver coin every month to watch for danger. Jim didn't understand why Billy was so afraid, but he could tell the old sailor was hiding from someone. Part 2. The Mysterious Death. One day, a blind man came to the inn. His name was Pew. He was even scarier than Billy. He gave Billy something called the black spot, a pirate sign of danger and death. Billy turned very pale and looked terrified. A few minutes later, he collapsed on the floor and died. His heart had simply given out. Jim and his mother were shocked. They opened Billy's small chest to take the money he owed them. Inside, they found coins from many countries. But they also found something more valuable, a map. It was a treasure map, showing the place where the famous pirate Captain Flint had hidden his gold. Jim took the map to Dr. Livesey, a kind and clever doctor, and Squire Trelawney, a rich landowner. Together, they made a plan. They would sail across the sea and search for Captain Flint's treasure. Part 3. The voyage begins. Soon, their great adventure began. Dr. Livesey and Squire Trelawney hired a ship called the Hispaniola. It was strong and beautiful, ready for a long sea voyage. They also found a captain to lead the trip, Captain Smollett. He was very strict, but he was also fair and honest. Jim was allowed to join the crew as a cabin boy. He was so excited. He had never been on a ship before, and he felt proud to be part of the adventure. One of the men working on the ship was Long John Silver. He was hired as the ship's cook. He had only one leg and walked with a wooden crutch, but he moved quickly and always smiled. He was smart, friendly, and full of funny sea stories. He even had a green parrot on his shoulder that kept saying, "Pieces of 8. Pieces of 8. Everyone liked Silver at first. He was cheerful, helpful, and full of charm. But soon, Jim discovered a terrible secret. Part 4. The Secret Plot. One day, while hiding inside a barrel on the ship, Jim heard Silver talking to some of the crew. He realized that many of them were actually pirates, Captain Flint's old men. They had a plan. Once the treasure was found, they would take over the ship and keep the gold for themselves. Jim was scared, but he stayed quiet. Later, he told Captain Smollett and the other honest men. Now, they knew the truth. Their lives were in danger. They had to be careful and ready to defend themselves. After many days at sea, the ship finally arrived at Treasure Island. The island was green, wild, and full of secrets, with trees, hills, and hidden caves. It looked peaceful, but Jim knew danger was waiting. Part 5 on the island. Some of the crew went to the island right away, and Jim went with them. Soon, he walked off alone into the forest. There, he met a strange man named Ben Gunn. Ben had once been a pirate too, but his old friends had abandoned him on the island. He had lived there for 3 years, eating berries and goats. He was a bit strange, but kind and friendly. Ben told Jim a big secret. He had already found Captain Flint's treasure and hidden it in a safe place. He promised to help Jim and his friends, but only if they would take him home after the adventure. Meanwhile, things got worse. Long John Silver and his pirates took control of the ship and demanded the treasure map. Captain Smollett, Dr. Livesey, and Squire Trelawney moved into an old wooden house on the island to stay safe and fight back. The pirates attacked with guns and swords, but the loyal men fought bravely and refused to give up the map. Part 6. Jim's Courage. Jim wanted to help. He found a small round boat and quietly went back to the Hispaniola. There, he faced a dangerous pirate and fought bravely. In the end, Jim won the fight and took control of the ship. He moved it to a safe place, far from the pirates. Later, Jim returned to the wooden house and told his friends what he had done. They were amazed by his courage. Silver tried to act friendly again, pretending to help the good men, but Jim didn't trust him anymore. The pirates used the map and dug where they thought the treasure was. But they found nothing. They had been tricked. The treasure was gone. They didn't know that Ben Gunn had already taken it. Part 7. The End of the Adventure. Some pirates gave up. Some ran into the forest and were never seen again. Others were too weak to fight. In the end, the good men won. They were tired, but they were safe. And now, they finally knew where the Real treasure was, hidden in a cave by Ben Gunn. They found gold, silver, jewels, and coins from all around the world. There was so much treasure that they had to carry it in many trips to the ship. A few pirates were left behind on the island. Some had died, and some had escaped. Long John Silver was still with them for a while. He helped sometimes, but he also lied and tricked them. Then one night, while everyone was sleeping, Silver disappeared. He took one small bag of treasure with him and was never seen again. The ship sailed back to England. Jim and his friends were safe, and now they were rich. But Jim felt different. He had seen danger, greed, and death. He had learned about bravery, friendship, and trust. He was no longer just a young boy. He had grown up. Part 8. Vocabulary Practice. All right, now let's go over some of the best vocabulary from today's story. Repeat after me, and let's practice together. By the sea. This means near the ocean or next to the coast. Example, they built a small cottage by the sea. Now repeat. They lived by the sea. In a small hotel, often old and cozy. Example, we stayed at a little inn during our road trip. Now repeat. Let's rest at an inn. Rough means someone looks tough or wild. Example, the sailor looked rough with messy hair and old clothes. Repeat. He looked rough and scary. Scar, a mark on the skin after a cut or injury. Example, he has a scar on his face. Nervous means feeling worried or afraid. Example, Jim looked nervous before meeting the sailor. Keep an eye out means to watch carefully. Example, keep an eye out for trouble. Pale, skin looks very white, often from fear or sickness. Example, he went pale when he saw the pirates. Collapse, to fall down suddenly. Example, he collapsed on the floor. Adventure, a fun and exciting journey, sometimes dangerous. Example, climbing the mountain was a big adventure. Voyage, a long trip by ship. Example, they went on a long voyage across the ocean. Strict, someone who follows rules carefully. Example, the captain was strict but fair. Take over the ship, to control the ship by force. Example, the pirates tried to take over the ship. Right away means immediately. Example, come here right away. Walked off, to leave quietly. Example, Jim walked off into the forest. Great job. You did it. And that's it for today's episode of English House. You've listened to an exciting adventure, learn new vocabulary, and practice speaking through shadowing. Remember, your English becomes stronger little by little, one story at a time. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep speaking. I'm Sarah from English House. Thanks for learning with me today. See you in the next episode, and until then, keep shining and keep speaking English. Bye for now.